I wanted to dive into a bit of the technical aspect of copywriting. And one of the things that I would think is an elephant in the room, maybe I'm wrong, but AI comes out and then everybody feels like you can be a copywriter by just asking ChatGPT. What have you noticed in the industry when it comes to having access to tools like that and how it's shaped for people's, understanding of going into a career of copywriting? What longevity is there?
Yeah. When it first came out, I freaked out. I was like, oh shit, my poor students. Same with the pandemic. I mean, there have been many situations where I was like, oh no, my poor students, what are they going to do? As time has gone on, and there was definitely an initial, like, everybody was super excited about it. I mean, but also, like, look at how often this has happened. Crypto, NFTs. I just feel like we love to get excited about things. And then reality settles in, right? And so when it first came out, I was worried. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen here? But I did have a hunch that it would just be like any other piece of technology where we would learn to adapt, right? Canva came out and everybody thought graphic designers are going to be done and gone with. Didn't happen. And so there was like, I was in two minds, freaking out a little bit, worried about my people, also knowing that we would probably just have to adapt and that would be okay. So as time has gone on, I've just learned that it's actually like a really fantastic tool. It has its limitations and lots of people are seeing the limitations of ChatGPT. It's pretty well known at this point. So people have kind of cooled off, and also like the client work situation has become less of an issue. People, I think, had a hard time with their clients. I do think part of it was perception, right? If you think that, oh no, ChatGPT is going to take my job, it's probably going to make your client acquisition a little less robust. But now I've just seen how copywriters are actually leveraging ChatGPT to make their work so much faster. Because quite frankly, ideation, research, outlining general initial ideas, it's fantastic for. And that's some of the most time consuming parts of being a copywriter. The other thing is you really need to be, like, as we all know, like ChatGPT, you need to be a subject matter expert in order to get good results from it. And that is what I kind of teach. So I usually teach people to take kind of what they already know. Again, lots of people from healthcare, a lot of teachers, for example, they usually come in and then they become a copywriter for that industry, right? So maybe I don't know, maybe they were a dentist and then they like write for like other dentists now. And that's just, especially that is so specialized that it's not even close to replacing copywriters.
When I think of some of the things I'm assuming are the essences in copy that can't be kind of replicated, there's this whole like my personal story and how that influences the copy. You spoke of the subject matter experts as well. And I'd be curious to know, like, are those, or is there anything else that you think is the core essence that can't be replaced for someone to write good copy?
I mean, storytelling, like really good storytelling. Like when you read what ChatGPT puts out, it's so ridiculous and kind of over the top that actually, if that's what you're going for, it's probably great. But that's not what most people are going for. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like the human element, but also the other thing that I feel like, at least how I teach copywriting, you walk out, so you're a marketing strategist. You're basically a fractional, marketing CMO. And so you are not just like, it's not just the words on paper. It's usually like entire funnel creation, how it all fits together, the strategy, stuff like that. But I just call it copywriting. So if you're just writing like copy, sure, those are probably the first people that will eventually be replaced by AI. But the people who are doing copywriting as I teach it, which is where you're doing entire like, funnel creation, all different kinds of strategy, things like that, then, that's going to take a lot longer for that to be replaced.
I remember when the birth of the internet was there, salespeople were going to disappear. And nonetheless, the nuance, which is a word that I heard you say many times, is that the good salespeople get to rise to the top and there's a lot less mediocrity in the industry. And I would assume copywriting is going through a similar
100%. Cream rises to the top. It's getting rid of all the people who were on Upwork and Fiverr cranking out blogs for like $5 a pop. You know, those people are gone, right? ChatGPT replaced those people. But again, at least how I teach it, like that's never who you're going for. Like I'm like, go for my students have written for people like, not to like humble brag, but I'm bragging on them. Like Google and Fenty and Audi and Alaska Airlines and Gaia Herbs. Like they're going for like big brands, but also most of them love the little guys, right? The little guys who are just a small business who has an amazing product that's like maybe helping new moms or a service. And those people, those like one-to-one service providers or those small businesses, they don't have time to like learn funnel creation, copywriting techniques and strategy. And they definitely don't have time to learn how to use ChatGPT to make all of that come together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So those copywriters are still going in and helping them, even if they are leveraging AI to whatever extent it's like helpful.
I love that we've actually walked in talking about copywriting, but really we talked a lot about the self and the breakthroughs we need to have and the nuance and building anything online and being a freelancer and understanding that possibility. And a bit of the things that I really picked up from our conversation is, for one, sometimes just going for that giant goal is actually going to be the limitation of getting you started for just the simple things you could achieve when you introduce a new skill set like copywriting, or you take the leap of faith of building your own business online. It sounds like when you started going into it and working with some doctors, and then the second leap of faith being, okay, if you go into copywriting, it's maybe an easier pill to swallow because you don't necessarily need to put your own personal brand out there. You're writing for others, so you can actually improve your craft, you can improve, and it's a little less personally vulnerable. But if you do decide to build a business around your own personal brand, there's another leap of faith to make there. But our stories is really the key that will allow us to stand out, and doing it in our own way is going to be the authenticity that I think our industry is craving. We didn't want to necessarily talk down, but we have pointed out towards the maybe the loud, the obnoxious, the cringy that exists online. Yeah, they might be getting a lot of the big attention, but a lot of the success is happening in the corners where they're not so loud. And there's plenty of corners for people to have their own way of defining success that I think we often overlook, don't even consider. And I think that possibility is more real today than ever. You've talked about how there's so many different ways besides the 9 to 5 that we can make income. And today is absolutely that age to do that. When it comes to using AI, there's still great ways that it can enhance the way that you do your copy, that enhances the way that you do your sales. And if you're actually going towards quality and doing a great job, there's always going to be a way for you to rise to the top. Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.